Yeah, I'm thinking that might be a good idea.
What do you got there, Brett?
Yeah, there you go. This is a fisher. I've never dove this, but there's a possibility. I'm sure there's a cavern down there, but I didn't plan on diving it today. But the longer we spend here, the more the tide's going to come in or do something.
Map's real. That's all. Hey, it's actually almost all tape surveyed too, up until you get back to where nobody will be anyway.
Back to where? Oh wow. Back to where?
Well, I mean, back to where no one else is probably going to go, other than a few people, and who won't really care. Version of Illustrator for that, because the new version decided not to support DXL files, or DFLs, or DXL, whatever.
Okay, Brett, what'd you find?
Cave.
Big crack?
Big crack. It's just an ocean cave. It's got a lot of stuff in it, but you can tell that it's been siphoning more than it's been springing lately. It's got that typical kind of like sand and clay mixed in it. Got about 10 foot of visibility. You just got to kind of stay in front of it going in. That's about it.
You were singing through?
At the end, I just put 2 slip knots on it, Rye. If you want to double up the tie or whatever, go ahead.
All right.
There's not a lot of placements in there. So.
To look like a Bahama freaking cave?
Yeah, it looked a lot like some of the nastier ones. Definitely a cool cave, though.
Put what, 200 feet of line in it?
About 220. About 2. Wow. I was landing pretty quick.
Almost 10.
Yeah. And you did it on soda sorb, which is like it turns to
was
paste.
Yeah. And then we didn't have
After
anything.
7
Right?
hours.
We just shook it. I mean, that was it. You know, we didn't have anything.
That's all.
Free ride. Come on and take a free ride.
As soon as you get to the end of your line, you're gonna go fuck and then woo. Just goes down.
Or whatever on the southern point. It's a long fucking boat ride, and she's dying. She's sitting on the boat going, oh man, I have to pee. So as soon as we get there, and I'm sitting right next to her, we get there, I'm like, jump overboard. She's like, huh? I'm like, you have to pee. She's like, oh, too late, I did that a while ago. I'm like, oh, nasty. It's everything.
Yeah, he's spread eagle.
That's not good. Is he still breathing?
Yeah, that is.
That's not
that
good.
is, yeah. That is kind of how you float up when you're pretty fucked, huh?
Yeah.
Except no bubbles coming up.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
I think that's the only okay sign I think I've ever seen from a cave diver. That's funny.
Still going. Added about another 150 feet to your line.
Good.
Turned it basically on time.
How deep?
Max depth of 72. Where it hit the 72 going down in the spot that you went through,
Yeah.
comes back up and it's just going about 65 feet.
I thought it was like 80 to 100.
How big was the passage?
It's hard to tell. Most of the time you can't see the ceilings. The line's pretty much on the floor. You can see, maybe I'd say you have probably average, what, 5 to 10 foot of viz.
Yep.
And you can't see the ceiling. A lot of places you can see both walls, but...
So it's Fisher Crack, 10 feet wide?
Yeah.
I'd say Fisher Crack probably around 10 feet wide, and if I had to guess, the ceiling's just barely out of sight. It'd be really nice if you could find it springing, because there's a lot of stuff in there that you're not going to see.
Well,
We'll
yeah.
need
Yeah, but with the
rate for
siphon,
that.
it's telling you where it's going,
Yeah.
isn't it? I mean, were you laying line based on sight or just kind of letting it take you?
I just went, woo!
Let it take you. Free, slow.
It was fun.
Dude, what?
Okay, tell us about this crab that you found.
Not the one in
Look
your
like-
pants.
Look like that.
How big?
That's a pretty good artistic drawing there.
It was about a foot long, probably 6 to 8 inches wide.
You didn't get A's
On the
in
bottom
art, did
shell.
you?
Huh?
You didn't get A's
Hey,
in art,
big
did you?
pictures.
No.
And he was double stacked on top.
Albino crab.
He looked like this.
How far back is he?
Wasn't a horseshoe crab, was it? You know what
I thought it was a horseshoe crab at first, but I don't think it was. Look, that's what
Are
it
those
looked like.
pinchers in front?
They look
like-
like pinchers.
Like that?
Yeah.
Eatable pinches?
Dude, that looks like a big amphipod.
Let me see it.
Kurt, what were the name of the roachy ones that used to
I know
bite
which
us
one.
and shit?
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan, hold on. Did it have this over its back? Here, hold on a second.
Looked like a big cockroach.
Did you see striations like that?
It actually looked kind of smooth on its back. It was solid white. Looked kind of smooth.
Dude, we need to come
We
back
gotta
here
go back
tomorrow.
and catch that bitch.
And it had
Catch it, you kill it.
Had something like a
No, we
symbol
catch it and
on its
send it
back
to
on
Tom.
that.
Yeah, the scientists kill it in the name of
Like
science.
a
Yeah,
logo
we catch it and
on
send it to
Johnny's
Tom.
got this camera. Go shoot it. Seriously.
You got the wrong lens.
It was only about
No, I've got a 10 to 22.
250 feet
Oh,
back.
I also
When I
have
saw
a
it,
50.
I started
could put
laying
in
it
there.
right after I added dartite into
All right,
your
well,
line.
let's understand. This cave's hundreds and hundreds
the
of
problem
thousands
is
of
I
years
have
old.
to be
There's
close.
nothing to say that there isn't some cave
It's a
adapted.
prehistoric albino cave
That's
crab.
right.
This is turning into Blair Witch video. Did you see little stick people in the cave?
So now, if you go in tomorrow and you just disappear, we're going to assume the crab ate you.
There's some type of something in there in the rocks that kind of stings your hands too.
Yeah.
If you touch against it.
Fire
Oh,
coral.
hydroids.
coral.
Hydroids.
Hydroids, yeah.
Hydroids or something.
That's the
Do a lot of ocean diving.
Gotta wear the gloves.
No.
Yeah, well, you'll have fun
Yeah,
later.
I have to go home and clean my
Kurt,
tanks now.
Later on, we'll pee on Ryan's hands when we get back to
Yeah, that's how you.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's just pee. Come on.
It's
Embrace
sterile.
the wee-wee.
Yeah,
I don't know if
People
mine's
help you
sterile,
out.
but most people's is sterile.
I've seen friends.
What'd you see in the cave? What was the cave? What'd it do?
It's definitely a fault line, and it's even better visibility than yesterday. No, not at all. And I think I probably laid about 100 feet of line, and I started going deep in the fault line and made a tee to the right, and it sucked down into some really small leads, but I just felt like that wasn't the right way, so I came back up, tied back off. I got to 115 feet, came back up to 80, tied back into my line, and started going back up to the left, and there's no flow at all, and I really felt like that must be the way at 115, and all of a sudden I keep coming up, and all of a sudden it starts pulling me again, and I'm like, yeah, there it goes. So I put about another 300 feet in. The cave's got about 700 feet of line in it, and you're back down to about 90 feet, and the sea life's dropping out. The reel's sitting there with the brake on a nice smooth rock. It's still got lots of slime on it, but the visibility's only about from here to the camera, about 5 feet, 6 feet max. But I like the siphon. Really, I do, because, you know, it really tells you where you're going and stuff, but it's probably some of the most challenging cave I've laid line in without being small. But this actually wasn't in the cave, it was in the opening up in the water. It's a dugong vertebrae is what that is. But very cool. It's a very cool cave. It's going strong, man. So what Ryan had saw earlier, because he doesn't allow diving, is there's several mating seahorse crabs in there. And the reality is the muck, they just bury their tails, and on the back of the seahorse in the segment, there's 8 sharp spikes that stick out of the back of the seahorse before the tail, and the males and the females and everything else. And I saw several of them right where you started the line. I saw one there. So it's basically seahorses mating, and in the visibility, they do look white.
Horseshoe crabs?
Horseshoe crabs, thank you. Not seahorses, sorry.
So it's like seahorse crabs.
Okay.
No.
Were the crabs at least white?
I can understand why you think they were white. That's okay though. He's a Texas cave diver. You have to forgive him. Having sex. They're like rabbits of the crustacean world. They're always having sex.
Sometimes you'll see